Morrow, why are you at the soup store? I'm at the soup store for soup. Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me I have some more RPG horror stories. Did you know that I finally started doing live streams? Oh my god, once a week live streams, woohoo! I'm gonna try to stream every single Friday at like 6 p.m. EST, something like that. Maybe it'll start a little early. Just look out for the channel, you'll see some sort of a ping notification somewhere. If you'd like to stop by and chat and just kind of hang out together, I'm totally down for that. But without further ado, let's get some RPG horror stories for today. JM wants to be a renowned novel author. Sorry for mistakes, English is not my first language. This story took place like 6 years ago. I joined a starting D&D 3.5 group, hosted by the friend of a friend. My friend wasn't part of this party, so I knew no one in it. JM was 25-ish years old, lived with his parents, and didn't have a job because he was working on writing a book or novel since a few years. I was convinced he would become famous because his story was amazing. So we created our characters, a real D&D party. I was a warlock and we had a rogue, fighter, and monk. And we started the GM's homebrew campaign. Each time we played via Discord and Roll20. Never met anyone from them IRL. Each time, the rhythm of the session was the following. 30 to 45 minutes where the GM told us how the world evolved and how his NPCs and OCs reacted to it and interacted together with NPCs as spectators. Every session starts with a 45-minute monologue about how everybody's having fun and you guys just kind of spectate the world. Really? How do you just not leave after like 20 minutes of this? Say, hey, what can we play? Oh, we can't play for another 25 minutes? Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and pack up my things and just, I'll see you never. Goodbye. A fight happens. Goblins attack in town, or local tailor needs us to kill Spider for silk. 15-minute fight. We'll be here to help GM's OCs to do the job, which they would do even without us. Then we go again to 30 to 45-minute description of the world evolving and NPCs living their lives, but we can't do anything except watch. 15-minute fight, 30 to 45-minute world evolving, 15-minute fight. This sounds horrifying. You're literally spectators for someone else's fan fiction. This is horrifying. This is a game where the DM should just wrote a book. Simple as that. Just write a book. What's the point of having a captive audience? Write a book, or write a visual novel, I don't know, just anything but play D&D, please. So after 3 sessions, I had enough of this game where our characters were just spectators. It wasn't even railroading, just NPCs and GM's OCs living cool stuff, and we happened to be there and watch them. So I wrote a message in a Discord server explaining my decision, then left it. I learned a few years later that GM resented me greatly, had a session where the remaining PCs easily killed mine in a fight. You know what? Bullet dodged, honestly. This sounds like a really crappy GM taking such petty actions because he decided, I want to leave because I actually want to play a game. Oh, how dare you? How dare you wanted to play an actual game and not just be a spectator in some games? How dare you? Such a sinner. Worse than me, the literal half-devil. Anyway, let's continue with the next story for today. Do you have any experience playing with new players? This is gonna be kinda meh horror story. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, I was trudging through the wastes of LFG and other TTRPG forums looking for a new game of D&D. This was 1 to 2 years ago now. After a few days of searching, I came across a Westmarch style server, which I'll call Dusts of Monotony, fake name obviously, ran by an internet stranger that seemed pretty cool at first. I made a character, talked to the DM, blah blah, usual onboarding stuff, etc. Everything was fine, no red flags yet. But later came my first 2 and last sessions. Here's what happened during those sessions. I greeted everyone as I got into a call. No one replied, even though nobody was visibly muted. Weird, but okay. Once the DM was ready, he started talking to the other players about magic items and inventories. I, confused, asked a question about it. One of the players promptly responded, saying that they were talking about the party's cache of items, and then they weren't sharing because I'm new. Thanks for excluding me, I guess. Any questions about the VTT or house rules were met with hostility by the DM or other players. Asked if they use flanking rules, and apparently that really ticked them off because everyone audibly groaned in response. I was the only one being treated like this. There was another new player who was also. End of session 1. Is it that difficult to ask about simple things like that? Hey, do you guys do flanking? Advantage on flanking? Yes? No? Oh, okay, you're gonna berate me about it and just groan and stuff and not explain anything for me? Or are you gonna hold off for the magic items because I'm brand new and you're gonna just hoard it from me? What kind of a toxic place do you play on that like treat people like this so terribly? This is awful. This is terrible. Some sort of like tribalism or something. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like tribalism because you're the new guy. They have to ostracize you for whatever reason and groan at you for questions. God forbid you have questions. Do they have like a section on Discord to like explain all the rules and house rules and everything? They probably don't, which is probably why you ask. Maybe they do. I don't know. Still, really strange response from them. Feeling unwelcome after session 1, I privately messaged the DM inquiring about a question I wanted to ask and if I could provide some input about this session. They said yes, as long as they could respond to whatever my input was. Sure, that's fine. So I asked the question, do you have any experience playing with new players? And describe my experience. Instead of asking any follow-up questions, the DM then proceeded to tell me about his server analytics, saying that he had gotten tons of new players in the months past. From there, try to provide further context, but they just ignored me. Overall, a very strange interaction. Showing analytics for your Discord server that you have a bunch of new players coming in is not answer the question if you're used to new players. If you're not used to new players, just say, yeah, I'm not good with new players. I'm not good with tutorializing new players and showing them ropes about the house rules and everything. I can talk about my analytics and stuff, but at the end of the day, it doesn't answer the question of are you good with new players? Can you handle being like a DM for new players? Because guess what? New players, especially when they try to get used to your server, whether they have experience with previous D&D or not, are gonna still have an adjustment period, whether they're brand new or kind of experienced, to try to make sure they just do your house rules and how the systems work and everything. Some of my players have previous experience playing D&D before in other games and other VTTs and stuff, but joining mine, obviously they had to kind of adjust process to everything going on. One of the players even had to adjust to the fact that they could actually get some story stuff that actually mattered, that was just beyond flavor, like upgrading the steel defender for the artificer to be able to actually be really useful early on. Wow, the surprise, oh my god, actually getting something substantial from a DM that actually cares about the character's storyline and stuff. What the heck? No, for real though, I literally had an issue with the player thinking that they can only just get stuff for flavor because the previous DM was kind of a hard ass about this stuff. But like, yeah, you can totally upgrade your steel defender. An artificer should be able to create cool stuff. If you want to upgrade your steel defender, if you want that to be a character play a character storyline and part of it, I'm perfectly cool with that. I think it's awesome. Let's go with it. Let's roll with it. Let's make it happen because I'm that kind of DM. I'm like the cool uncle DM. Don't call me Unc though. Don't call me Unc Morrow. Please don't. During session 2, I continued to be friendly, asking questions, and try to break any awkward silence. I was told to shut up, basically. Still not fully knowing how to use the VTT, Foundry, try to get some clarification. If somebody is brand new to Foundry, the least you could do, jackass, is tell them how to use Foundry. Foundry is great, but yes, there's going to be a bit of learning curve, no matter if you're experienced with D&D or not, because you got to figure out which module does what, if you have Combat HUD activated, which specific compendiums are allowed to be, which specific character sheet module you're trying to run. Are you running baseline or tidy sheets and stuff, because not all of them are going to be the same. Which version of Foundry you're running, which version D&D 5e module you're running, they're all different, regardless of which version you're running. I'm running slightly older version because it just works for me and my players. We kind of just used to it because some of the older modules that we have don't get supported with the new version of Foundry or version of D&D 5e and stuff. So like we're just trying to run with whatever we can to basically try to make it happen and make it work. But still, there's a little bit of onboarding process and stuff. Just take the 10 minutes to onboard the player through it. For crying out loud, it's not that freaking difficult. I was met with a DM telling me that something was wrong with me because I didn't understand the poorly given directions. Leave the game. This DM is a jackass. The players are jackasses. They're not worth it. They're not worth the time invested. No D&D is better than bad D&D. And this is horrific. Grade F horse crap D&D. With this prick of a DM and prick of players. They're awful. They're terrible. Don't associate with them. Don't play with them. They're all pricks. Fuck them. When I was role-playing with a group, I said something that I thought sounded weird. Something stupid like moist. A word everyone hates. Try to rephrase whatever I said differently, but then started stammering. If you know, you know. So then, instead of laughing and like a normal person, the DM cut me off and continued the scene without me. Again, excluding me from any sort of interaction. After being put down almost the entire time I was on call, I left during the 30-minute break without saying a word to anyone. Left the server, logged off the VTT, where I then received an angry message from DM saying that I was disrespectful and a bad player, and then immediately blocked me, so I couldn't respond. That's it. That's the story. Frick those people. Don't be like them. Nothing much to say, and I agree. Frick those people. Don't be like them. Let's move on to the next story for today. why you should never make a campaign based on your special interest. So I'm in the online D&D group that's been going on well over 4 years, which take turns DMing short campaigns, 12 to 24 sessions. Damn, short campaigns, 12 to 24 sessions? That's a lot! That usually have a good chance of getting completed unless the DM reaches an absolute roadblock, which has happened only twice except for the main character of this story. But one player in particular gets into particular roadblocks, not because of external situations or scheduling conflicts, but because they lose interest in almost everything they make after 5 to 6 sessions. Let's call her Shannon. Shannon's a good player, a really great one. Backstory and beats with her tabaxi still make me tear up slightly to this day. She also is on autism spectrum, but who isn't in D&D community? After we completed our last campaign, Shannon suggests we should play a homebrew campaign based on Castlevania she was making. That sounded really cool as I rolled up a Christian gunslinger as she gave us all detailed lore and multiple fan and articles to read. I even watched the anime to get a better grasp of the world. First arc went great. We completed a mega dungeon and killed a vampire lord, which got us lots of gold to use in the shopping session that had hooks to the next mega dungeon. We talk a lot in between sessions on VC. She wouldn't stop talking about Castlevania. However, a few days before the next session, we were chilling in VC, asking her and sharing our excitement for the next session. However, she sighed and gave general answers. When we asked what was wrong, she said she didn't quite feel like running it anymore, but didn't go into why. We had sympathy, as maybe it's due to IRL stuff, so we just let it pass. After all, I had one good adventure. That's satisfying enough for me. 2 weeks later, she came up to us with another campaign based on Helldivers 2. Started gushing about the 1984 themes. Now, I wasn't part of the campaign, as she was pretty adamant of using 5e with an F-ton of homebrew rules for guns and whatnot, which isn't my style, but from what I heard, it's a similar story from earlier. There was even a funny story about her cancelling a session because of a new update and she needed inspiration, but instead of saying something in VC, she pinged the server announcing it ending due to losing interest. I'm noticing a pattern with Shannon. They get interested about something and then lose interest and the campaign is over. I feel like if you're going to be running some game, you got to find something that you're going to be committed to, at least for the full run of it. And if it's like a hot new thing that you get into and you get bored of it, I think that's your problem. I think you just need to find something that you can stick with. I think that's a Shannon problem, not a player's problem. We played a campaign from another person for the next 8 weeks. Started and ended phenomenal, by the way, before she announced she had a really good campaign idea based on One Piece. Yes, it was 2023 when everyone was obsessed with One Piece. Personally, everyone was ecstatic as we all wanted a more nautical-based campaign for a while. Quickly drafted up a swashbuckler rogue with a fondness for knives and collecting them. My goal finding the twin silver knives I've heard in legends to save my lichen-infested island. The role wasn't exactly set in the world of One Piece. It was One Piece mixed with traditional D&D fantasy tropes, but regardless, just made the world feel better and fit into the system better. We played for 8 months for about 16 sessions, with 6 sessions remaining apparently, before we took a 1-month break, as some of us had scheduled family vacations at conflicting times during when we talked on VC. She wouldn't stop talking about the newest chapter of One Piece, or the new live action, etc. I haven't read far into it, I just kind of skimmed briefly, but I'm betting what's gonna happen is that she's gonna lose interest again, and then the game will never continue. And she's gonna end off, and then in, 6 months later, or 6 weeks later, or however many time it's gonna pass by, she's gonna be like, hey guys, I heard of Dune. I heard of Dune Awakening being released, and now I wanna play Dune and stuff. You guys wanna play Dune campaign with me? You wanna? And then get bored again, say like, oh, I don't wanna play Dune anymore, guys, sorry. I'm just no longer interested. And then the next thing comes out like Stellar Blade. Hey guys, do you want to play Stellar Blade campaign with me? It's just going to be continuously revolving door. I feel like you need to talk to Shannon about this because they just lose interest in whatever is new and popular and they get bored of it. Next thing you know is going to be solo leveling campaign, which is going to end like 2 weeks. When we got back and started to prep for the final arc, it happened again. We were talking to VC, and she was just kind of avoiding talking about the campaign. Why is this a thing that's going on with Shannon? Okay, you guys need to talk to Shannon about this and figure out why Shannon just gives up on it. Maybe potentially Shannon is just hooked on the new thing that's currently out. Whatever's on Netflix, whatever's on Hulu, if somebody watches Hulu. I don't even know anybody that watches Hulu. Whatever's Amazon Prime and stuff. They get hooked on a new thing that gets out, and they get excited for it, and then once the excitement dies down, they go like, okay, well, I'm no longer interested in this whole thing. I feel like Shannon has a problem. They definitely have the passion. They just gotta find the hook they can stick with. A hook that's something of their own. Maybe instead of adapting something from other media, they should just focus on something of their own. Create their own hook, create their own excitement they could be fully committed to and stay committed to. Or at least do the service of choosing something and find a good start and finish without just ending things prematurely, because at this point it feels like it's just premature climax of the story without any kind of satisfaction. I'm trying to be very wordy and selective. You know exactly the words I want to use. I want to use more illicit words that YouTube will not allow me to say, but you know what I mean. It's just premature climax of the excitement, and then just got nothing going on. Just gonna twiddle your thumbs because like, okay, well, my excitement is over. Let's end the campaign now, everybody. I think most of us knew what was about to happen, but we all asked her what's wrong, and she revealed she lost interest in One Piece, so she's ended the campaign. All we understood, we were almost there and felt really blue-balled, not to mention this sort of thing happened in her past campaigns. We had an honest discussion. While we're not gonna force her to continue campaign, we'll notice whenever she makes a campaign, she loses interest when it's about her special interests, as it seems like all her special interests have a lifetime around of 3 to 6 months. Gee, it's almost like when something brand new comes out, it gets relevant for a little bit and then becomes old news all over again. Wow, it's like whenever you get something exciting, new thing going on, a new show, a new game, after a bit, the spark for the excitement for the game maybe kind of wears off a little bit and you don't play it as often, because that's just kind of how the cycle goes. You get into a game, you play it for a little bit, you stop, you move on. You're not gonna be playing Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered the whole time, or maybe you might, maybe you don't know, maybe you're playing it for the next 2 years consistently non-stop, making all kinds of different builds and breaking the game repeatedly, constantly ad nauseum. Who knows, maybe you'll be just speedrunning the whole game, making YouTube videos on it. I don't know, I'm not your dad, I'm not gonna tell what you should be doing or what you're gonna do. Or maybe you'll play it for like 3 months and then you get bored of it and just move on to something else going on, because like that's just the nature of people. You get the exciting thing, monkey brain goes ooh, ooh, happy chemicals, and then you can move on to the next thing that your monkey brain can interact with. And yes, as a tiefling, I consider myself a bit of an ape, because I am an ape. I'm literally I'm an ape-brained idiot. We all are ape-brained idiots. We see the shiny new thing, we go ooh, exciting, we'll move on to the next shiny thing. That's how we work. That's how we all work, except some people. Some people get attached to things and stay there forever, like me with Final Fantasy. An addiction, a crack addiction that I need to quickly get a fix on. She got really defensive, saying, not my fault for losing interest in stuff. I didn't understand what our concern was with how canceling Good's campaign kind of bummed us out. We eventually put our campaign on the back burners. Everyone has new ideas that actually work out. That is probably the best thing to do. If Shanna can understand the fact that she's literally ended the campaign because she loses interest in this thing, maybe she should look for something else that she can be interested in that's going to have more longevity than skimmed milk. It might be a good idea to continue the campaign going instead of just jumping on the hype train for the new thing and then getting bored and getting hyped for the next new thing that they get excited about. Maybe it might be good for longevity of the campaign, just not blue balling everybody and ending it prematurely. A premature climax, nobody's gonna enjoy a premature climax. People that do enjoy it, maybe they have like a special weird kink about it and everything, but nobody out there enjoys getting blue balled. I don't enjoy getting blue balled. You don't enjoy getting blue balled. I'm assuming. I don't know. Maybe you do enjoy it. I don't know. I'm not telling you what you should be getting into or not, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's only fair for these players to not have Shanna be on the DM docket, basically put them on the back burner. Play out the games and stuff, since Shanna can never be fully committed to things. If they can't commit to a single campaign, that's a problem for Shanna to solve themselves. That's not a problem for the rest of the players to deal with. They want to keep playing games and not having themselves be blue-balled. And it's only fair for them to do so. And with that, that's going to be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.